Part 1, Story 3, Great Preparations. As the light of the earth's first day fades into night, something strange and wonderful begins to happen. Silently, mysteriously, the heavy, moisture-laden mist and his that has held close to the ocean began to rise. All, all night and all the next morning, it goes up, up, up until it becomes a beautiful, fleecy white covered high above the world. A beautiful, fleecy white covering high above the world. And I get my words right. Between it and the water below was a clear, fresh air and formed the atmosphere or the firmament as the Bible calls it. And God said, "Let there be a firmament in the midst of the waters, and let it divide the waters from the waters." And God made the firmament and divided the waters where divided the waters which were under the firmament from the waters which were above the firmament. And it was so. And God called the firmament heaven, and evening and morning were the second day. Perhaps you're wondering what God took one whole day to create. Wait, excuse me. Perhaps you're wondering why God took one whole day to create a week. Wait, perhaps we're wondering why God took one whole day of creation week to make something visible like the atmosphere. And then it doesn't have an illustration. When he gave one day to make fish of the sea and another to make animals. But things are not important just because we cannot see. There cannot be seen. In fact, that is what God did on the second day was for a great importance. Everything else depended on it. You see, he was planning to make a beautiful world and fill it with living creatures, and they would all need air to breathe. He planned to make birds too, and he needed air for them in which to fly. Without it, they would be earthbound. He also about to make trees and plants and flowers, and he knew they would need nitrogen to help them grow. So he mixed it with oxygen and made air, just the right amount of each, not too much, not too little. Had he mixed in too little oxygen, all his creatures would have suffocated. Had he mixed too much, one would spark and would set the world on fire. God had yet another reason to make the air first. It was to divide the waters above, that is, in the clouds, from the waters under, from the ocean. The air was the barrier between them. Without it, raindrops from a mile-high cloud would have hit the earth like a machine gun bullet, and one heavy downpour would have just destroyed everything. How wise was it God to make the atmosphere first? right after he made light and before he made everything else. It had been done otherwise, had it been done otherwise, would have been have been a dreadful mistake. I get it right. Mom, sorry for my reading them. It's just my brain, my mouth, and my brain sometimes don't look up. His whole loving plan might have been spoiled, but God does not make mistakes. Ooh, controversy. And as we think of how he made the world, we feel like to say, like sayings of Paul, oh, the depth of riches, both of the wisdom and knowledge of God. How unsearchable are his judgments, and his ways past finding out. And how, and then that's a quote from Paul. So that Saul is the disciple. It's the one from the Damascus thing, the Saul of Tarsus. Paul is actually Saul of Tarsus. Little tidbit. Okay. Um, and now Earth's second day is ending. The beautiful white clouds are changing color, shot through with gold, orange, red, purple, and slowly vanishing into the darkness the night draws on. 2 days are gone, 2 out of 6, and all that can be seen is the ocean, the great endless ocean. No land, no living creatures, nothing but water. North, south, east, west, only water, water, water. The restless waves rolling on and on to nowhere. In darkness of the third evening, it seems as though God had done nothing but left the moisture-laden mist of the ocean. But he knows better. He's not impatient. He is not hurried. He knows all is now ready for the next great step of creation. And it does have an illustration. Very pretty water scene. And and then here it goes. Listen, he's speaking again. God said, let the waters under the heavens be gathered together in one place, and let the dry land appear. Suddenly the oceans began to boil and seethe. There is a mighty shaking and shuddering. Out of the depths rise the first needle point of land. Needle First needle points of land. Swiftly continents and islands take shape. Mountains and hills move upward as the water drains from their sides to form in the forming contractions. What a night, what a day. As morning dawns on the third day, the light shines through the radiant cloud. Once more, it reveals no longer only an ocean, but a great stretch of dry land. It's beautiful land with lakes and rivers and waterfalls, and beyond that all, a sea. How very wonderful. Yesterday only an ocean, today a beautiful world. Now we know for sure that God has a great plan in mind. He builds something, buildings a home for somebody he loves. And then, of course, it has a nice, pretty illustration of the seascape. And that is the end of story 3. And next will be story 4. Well, boogers.